All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
RWBY Volume 7, Chapter 6.
Yes.
Okay.
It is the return of the onesie-kun, because I'm going to go undercover.
That's
as a member
right.
of the Aesops.
Yes. Or as a member maybe of the political activists, or even worse, Salem's crew.
Oh,
that is beginning such
but I'm Team
infernal
RWBY.
chaos. Oh, then
It's
I suppose
a
that's
Christmas thing.
Yeah.
I hope this thing is still in the Rooster Teeth store, because y'all should get one. It's pretty legit. Total non-sellout thing there. But anyway, RWBY has been having some really cool stuff with having all the characters getting those little bits of montages.
Yep.
I've been loving the episodes written by Eddie Rivas. They've been lots of fun.
So good.
And it feels like a return to form to classic school style RWBY. In a lot of ways, Penny was right. It'll be like Beacon all over again.
Yes.
But in a lot of ways, I hope Penny's wrong, because I don't want it to be like Beacon all over again.
Right.
So right now we're seeing civil unrest. We see our Jacques,
our resident shitlord, pulling a maneuver of sorts.
A maneuver, yes.
That may work against Ironwood.
I think it's going to work at stirring up chaos. I don't think it's going to work in the long term. I think the main thing that it'll do is provide a good cover for some chaos in Mantle, and then therefore we can have our infiltrators probably take advantage of it.
Yes.
It'll bring Grimm.
All
the problems
stuff.
that we love to have. But our huntsmen and huntresses have ingratiated themselves with the Aesops.
Indeed, and they are going out on missions, and it's great, and having coffee and turning down casseroles, or trying to.
From thirsty moms. They told us we were going to get them, and we got them.
Indeed.
We also got Team Funky in the last episode.
Yes, we
did. Which was awesome. It feels like they're still kind of doing all the setup stuff for the major plot conflict that will happen later. What kind of setup do you think we still have to get to kind of bigger plot conflict stuff?
I'm not entirely sure, because this feels like territory that we've never been in before.
Sure.
Because it's a return to form to the earlier stuff, right?
With the character interactions.
1 and 2 and character interactions, Beacon, all that stuff, right? And yet, because RWBY has progressed as a show so much since then, they're also doing it in a way that we are not fully familiar with. So we can't just account for like all the regular stuff to happen that we would expect from volumes 4, 5, 6, right?
Yeah.
Like if it were like it normally was, or has been recently, I would expect like, okay, now we're going to see some other antagonists sort of moving into the city and things like that. We're going to touch back on all the other side characters that aren't here, you know. But we don't have to, because we're going to be here for a while.
We're going to be here for a while. We already have antagonists within the city.
Yep.
I would say, if anything, it's probably going to be more about how Robin Hill and her crew, who were recently introduced, kind of react to Jacques' move, and then finding out a little bit more about her character, and by extension there, anyone connected with her. Ironwood needs to make his move in response to this as well. He does not seem to be as concerned about his image, though, because he is dead set focused on getting everything with the big satellite all set up and prepared. So I think it's going to be basically following on our girls, our teams, to make their own moves in response, which would be exciting.
Look like.
Proactive stuff for our main characters.
Indeed.
Y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
Keep dreaming about a better world.
You keep wishing for some tragedy. I just like how clarity, if you don't focus on listening to it, you can hear tragedy. And the thing is that we've got kind of we've got a structural reboot to the story of sorts. We have our new team Coffee. We're seeing old characters back again. The villains have to start a new plan from the ground up, a la Beacon.
Right.
And have our wild card characters and the sidelines here.
And the machinations of the villains have to be machinations. They can't do things with force.
Right.
Like, not yet at the very
least. Which makes us feel safe for the most part.
Right. Yeah.
But that's how things started at Beacon and everything.
Yep.
So it's good stuff. And we've got a lot of side characters that are, you know, still more in the mystery kind of area.
Right.
Like the Aesops, Robin Hill.
But most importantly, we have the Queen Weiss in her home element.
I just realized I need to, like, look a little bit closer at some of these things here because Robin Hill, they've been showing us her weapon this whole time in the OP, and I wasn't ever looking closely at what
That's
that
a
was.
good point.
She looked like she had, like, some kind of, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Disc thrower thing, like draw your last pathetic card so I can end this, Ironwood.
Although rioting in Mantle is finally under control, how does it feel to know that the majority of those involved were your supporters?
I don't condone rioting. Especially when our city is being denied aid for the hardships we've already had to go through. But Jacques Schnee's latest stunt is holding the city hostage for his own political gain. So I understand their anger, but ask that they show it not in the streets, but at the polls today.
Who's that? Training!
Yes.
Whoa! Brilliant!
Okay.
Yes! That was clever!
Nice. Nice. Little summon kun.
Whoa, whoa! Oh, she can change the,
Okay.
aura levels.
Nice.
Really
Your
taking
recovery's
things
getting
back
faster.
to season 2.
Oh.
Have you always been able to do that?
Nope.
I don't know. I don't normally think it through that much.
You guys are evolving, and I still don't even have my semblance.
Pokemon.
Well, I bet we'll all be jealous when we do.
What are you doing, Ren? Oh, Ren! What are you
He's
doing?
getting some much needed meditation.
You're really giving this your all.
Well, we have to with the way things are going.
They're not going well, are they?
Better Robin than Jacques Schnee.
Yeah, I suppose so. Either way, this election doesn't bode well for our stability.
Yes.
It could be a chance to work with Robin and get Mantle on your side.
The likelihood of that working...
She's right. You have to do something about Mantle. If you could get Robin to trust you...
I bet if you opened up to her, she'd understand that you're being framed.
Perhaps. But it will only work if she's open too.
I take it you're here for new mission assignments.
You could say that. The General and I want you to take the rest of the day to recuperate.
Oh,
You're
in preparation
giving us
for something.
a night off?
Oh, whoa!
After tonight's
A
election,
night off,
we'll be waking up to a
specifically.
very different Atlas tomorrow.
Oh.
I need you rested and ready for whatever that may bring.
Oh.
Gotcha. You won't be getting any long rests for a while.
Hours ahead of us, but as votes come in, it looks more and more certain that Robin Hill will fill the open council seat.
There's no way my father could have thought layoffs would do anything but hurt him. So why announce this the day before the election?
Just seems like a power play that backfired to me. Won't matter in a few hours, though.
Well, where are you guys going?
Team Funky invited us out dancing.
Nice.
Ryan and I thought it would be good to get our minds off the election.
I
Nice.
thought you said Team Funky was annoying.
That's the best part about dance clubs.
I can't hear you.
That's great.
That was brilliant.
That's great.
Just because Ironwood dislikes Robin doesn't mean we all have to. From where I'm standing, both of them seem to be trying their best to help Atlas. As to who's doing a better job.
But a victory party?
Invite's still open if you want in. Penny's gonna be working security.
That seems
Oh my
relevant.
Gosh, no, you gotta do it like this. That's what I'm doing.
Hey, Oscar and I are hitting the movies. If anyone wants.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Cool,
I
cool.
understand Weiss's point, though. A victory party does seem a bit premature.
Let them have one sure thing.
Probably the last sure thing before Amity Tower goes up and everyone learns about what we're fighting.
We've spent so much time worrying about how Ironwood will react to the truth about her. But have any of us considered how we're even going to beat her if we manage to work past that?
Jin said she can't be beaten.
She told Oz that he couldn't destroy her.
This is good. Let's talk
But
about it. Yeah.
maybe someone else could?
I don't know.
We should be training right now.
We've trained enough. Take some time
We
to...
don't have time.
Party people gonna stay up late. Oh, it's celebrate tonight.
Oh, the poles are slowly moving towards Jacques' area.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Hey, Penny. I am so glad you
The
made
fact that
it.
it's moving that
Narrow and I
quickly,
tonight.
though, is
More
pretty
friends means
impressive.
More fun.
I think.
Where are the others?
I think Watts
Weiss is
rigged
out with the boys.
the poles.
Yeah.
Mike and Hanford off doing their own thing. Again.
At least they're back to being friends.
Friends, huh? Just friends.
What else would they be?
Two people who've gone through that much?
Yeah.
I think there's more going on.
Well, maybe one of them feels that way, but the other might be worried.
Oh, these two!
It's just... There's a lot of things going on.
Oh my God! Look at the poles now. Yeah.
I believe I may be confused. Who are we talking about again?
Yes. Yes.
I'm not really sure.
Penny, where'd you go?
Please don't leave me.
Oh. Don't leave me with the couples, please.
Oh, hey, what are you doing here?
What?
Just hanging out with a friend while she's on the job.
You know.
Yeah, real cute. Look, try not to be too much of a distraction. We need to be vigilant in case...
In case what?
In case someone tries to start trouble.
Oh, funny. That's why we're here. So feel free to take a hike.
Listen, the General's trying to help, all right? Just because you can't understand...
What's going on here, Wags? Oh, and the pipsqueak is back.
We're concerned
As
about
may be.
security risks. Ma'am, the General doesn't want any surprises tonight.
Fine, but stay out of the way. If I get elected tonight, we'll all have to learn how to get along.
All right. All right.
Sure, we won't have any problems, as long as you stay within the law.
Oh.
The law isn't perfect, you know. It's certainly not equal.
Trust me, I'm well aware.
My only goal is that all the citizens
little
of Mantle
dog,
and
yeah.
Atlas and Faunus have an equal shot at a good life.
That sounds great. And you're planning to do all that equalizing legally, right?
Everything I've done is legal.
Of course. 100%.
Oh. Speech time.
That worked.
Oh.
Scram, kid. We've got a job to do.
So serious.
Can we please just not do this right now?
I should have just gone to the movies.
I want to thank everyone for going to the polls today. This is Mantle's moment. I know that, like me, you're all thrilled that we chose Robin as our voice in Atlas. No one has fought harder for Mantle than she has, and I know Robin will continue that fight on the council. Will you share a few words?
Aww. So wholesome.
Yeah.
Please remain wholesome. Everything remain wholesome. The little bounds. You know?
Yeah. I will say, though,
Never
the
been much for public speaking. Probably wasn't my best idea ever to go into
numbers have been
politics.
staying pretty... They haven't changed
pretty
in a
even
while,
now.
so...
Thank you so much, everyone, for choosing me. You said you believe in me, but I'm the one who believes in all of you. You've proven to me that as individuals, we are strong, but together, we are unstoppable.
Oh, nice, nice.
So no matter what
Nice.
happens tonight, win or lose, we will continue to fight for our city, because it is this city that brings us together.
Cool.
We're in the
Oh.
final minutes now, and it's looking to be a closer race than anticipated.
Don't worry.
New song. Yeah, that's. It's getting.
Friend?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why won't you just talk to me?
You know, I've never been really good with talking.
Yeah.
And screw talking.
Oh, yes! Yes! Good! Yes! Yes!
That happened! That happened!
Screw talking!
Yep.
Oh, here we go.
You ready, Tyrion?
Oh crap, he is in the midst here. Oh,
that's
dang.
not good.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh crap. Oh, he's just killing people.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Penny, what's going on over there?
Jeez. Jeez.
Your weapon and surrender.
Are we
Penny
getting...
versus
Oh.
Tyrion.
This is Ace Operative Marrow requesting immediate assistance.
Oh, there it goes.
Come on, we've got to get
There
you
it
out of
goes.
here.
Oh.
Oh! Oh!
Robin!
Jeez, what was that? Oh, cool weapon.
Okay.
Dude, Penny looks so freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Right on time.
Oh, they're gonna think it was her.
And the winner of the Atlas Council election
Wow,
is
wow.
Jacques Schnee.
Jeez!
Okay.
Wow.
It's Ironwood's robot!
Penny.
No.
I didn't.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you. It's all because of you. It's a new
Jeez.
day in Atlas. We won.
She okay? She okay? Probably poisoned. They're gonna need
What
to get
happened?
help.
It was Tyrion. Tyrion's here.
Stay!
Whoa! Whoa!
Get Penny out the back, now!
Holy shit!
Wow! That is an insanely powerful semblance.
I'm okay.
I'm sorry. Is she?
Whoa! Whoa! Wait!
I swear.
Oh crap!
Fine work, Tyrion. I think we are done for tonight.
Yeah, they don't need to do anything else. Just sit and let it happen.
A surprise victory by SDC Mining Corporation CEO Jacques Schnee. Last-minute voter turnout produced a dark horse victory for the dust industry leader.
Whoa!
Okay.
Oh crap! Because regardless of whether or not people think Penny did it, Penny was supposed to be able to protect them.
Right.
And she couldn't. Oh.
Grim.
Oh,
We've got
Grim
a
are
long
here.
night ahead.
Yep.
All
That
right.
makes sense. Ah, well, lovely. Well, yep,
Okay.
let's go.
All
Let's
right.
go.
All right. It has begun.
Woo! Oh my god, that was
Okay.
That was a good tense
right.
build up there.
And we got a
Oh.
lot of fun, wholesome stuff in the build up to
Yes.
all the crazy.
Yes. Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Well, she's probably okay.
She's probably been poisoned.
But she's probably been poisoned, yeah. Oh.
All right.
I like also how they cleverly maneuvered all the characters into different areas to where once, Mantle and everything goes a bit crazy, we can have the next couple of episodes be about them all dealing with the Grimm showing up in different areas and stuff. So there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Whew.
All right. Well, hey, they did some really cool things this episode.
They did.
They kept the characters front and center.
Mm-hmm. I loved that. I absolutely loved that.
Yeah.
Because with the
my gosh,
they basically downplayed all the political stuff and all that because we kind of knew what was going to happen there, right?
Right.
Like I'm really glad that they addressed the whole thing of, did Jacques really think that, like, even with a way to spin it, laying off a bunch of people would, like, get him extra votes? But then he ends up winning because, of course, he's going to win because that's why they're doing this plan. That's why they didn't tell us what exactly the plan was, right? And it looks like Watts is helping secure that, right, with his whole getup. And then, okay, we're going back to Volume 2 with, we're having a dance, we're having a party, right, in different areas and all that stuff. We're splitting up the party a little bit.
We have the villains doing machinations in the background.
Yep, and we're having great character moments with all of them that involve some confrontations based on the relationships that they have. And hey, where are we, kind of? What's going on? I did not expect that to happen with Nora and Ren, but I love it. And the kiss, fantastic. I hope that there's a part of me that wonders whether that will still end up being as positive a thing for Ren as it is for Nora, but that's where he needs to kind of, like, that's kind of where he's not as comfortable, where maybe he needs to grow a little bit more in the whole thing of, his emotions and all that stuff and not talking. But
they also did this other thing in the beginning where they basically said, hey, we're going to have all of our characters exploring creative ways they can utilize their semblances, auras, and what have you.
Yep.
And that's fight prep in terms of show writing, if I've ever saw it. It's basically them saying, hey, these things that they're practicing, we're going to show them being used in the next few episodes or so. Right. So get looking forward to that. The one that felt the most, like, interesting, though, was, like, we saw Nora's hammer rotate. That was pretty cool. We saw Jean's aura regenerating really quickly. Stuff that's kind of basic. Ruby talking about splitting herself. Yep. But then we have Ren here going into this, like, meditative state or what have you, where it's like he's, I don't know. It's like he's like...
Because Ren's semblance is something that either has very specific limited applications in certain situations, right?
Right.
Or but because it's something that feels very, like, ambiguous and general purpose, that means it could also be many different things.
Yeah.
So him practicing that could be him just meditating and centering himself as a person. That could be him prepping to do something else as practice, and then it gets interrupted by Ironwood showing up. So who knows?
Yeah. I would say seamlessly integrated everything with the relationships this episode rather nicely. We had little moments where he's giving us a little bit of a, hey, take the day off, or
take the night off.
Well, they specifically said you're gonna have some time off, and then Blake is like, oh, you mean the night off? And then kind of looking at each other there. They're getting ready to go to a dance. Weiss is like kind of not really having, because she has a little bit of extra knowledge that they don't regarding the Winter Maiden and everything like that. Kind of not really a fan of looking at things without a more balanced perspective. Which they're not really able to have because they don't have the information that you have.
Well, and also they don't have a bad association with parties in Atlas. So,
that's
there's
true
that too,
as well.
Right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that Weiss is on her own, which makes me, one, very concerned, because what's she going to be doing on her own? Is it going to be stuff involving, like, the Winter Maiden, or...
Well, no. She specifically goes to the movies with Jean and...
Oh, that's right.
Oscar. The minute there was another opportunity of a thing to do, she's like, yep, taking that.
Right.
Going away from all of this, like...
Which I love, because... as far as what Weiss would traditionally be interested in, that is so unbelievably low on the list. And yet it's still better than what the options that she had. So,
I also love legitimately, like, them giving focus to the actual relationships by them doing relationship things like that have nothing to do with confession or anything like that. Just building... synergy and actual like chemistry.
Let's figure out how to do this dance thing. Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not that easy to figure it out. There you go.
Yeah.
And then Weiss is like, huh, I'm gonna gag. I am so tired of all this like cutesiness. I need to have a distraction. So then she goes off with them. And I like that, you know, Ren and Nora and Ruby are getting this time here where they're like, hey, you know, what's really important here? And Ren seems to be like this doomsayer at this point, where he's like, we need to be training. And now I'm actually really interested in what that meditation was in some ways, because I almost get the vibe that he's like, he's like, you know, tapping into something, you know.
Right. It almost makes me wonder if he's actually internally the stormiest of all of them, right? And his semblance is the way that he kind of like is the way that he balances it, right? Because like his semblance, if I were to describe it in a way, like with a word, it would probably be balance. It wouldn't be something else, but with balance,
wouldn't be Zen or
right, exactly. So that means that there's the chaos and there's the order, right? You know, and his semblance is the, you know, it's the manifestation
to find
of
that balance in the chaos,
right? And if there is essentially a, like we joked earlier that it almost felt like a reverse the polarity kind of a thing of like an individual,
right?
But that means that there could potentially be some combat applications, not just I make myself anti-grim, right? Because anti-grim is pretty limited. How do we make Ren still, you know, be fighting and awesome later on?
I noticed that there were things in here that felt very Hunter x Hunter for me here, I want to throw out an idea that Ren is literally going to be using Een as basically a part of his semblance from here on out.
Okay.
Wherein he casts his aura out at a range, and that's why he was meditating, and yet he still knew when Ironwood and Clover showed up. He immediately looked out and then at their direction in a thing of like, you entered my field.
Sure.
So that's the only reason I'm really having that to be a theory is because Tyrion literally used but Ruby version and channeled all of his aura into his fist, to basically like.
Well, he sliced the aura itself.
Well, he broke the aura in a slicing kind of maneuver, and it went up in a specific way that when he did a follow through hit, actually did some damage. But I think actually the Faunus is going to be okay. She's not poisoned, as far as I can tell.
Right, because it wasn't his tail.
Right, let's jump back a bit here. We get a Ren and Nora confrontation of relationship stuff regarding things that Nora's like, hey, like, we need to talk about this. Like, and I love how Ruby's just like, nope, I am so out of this.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, so they had a couple relationships, well, a few relationships that they dealt with in this episode.
Right.
There was the obvious Blake and Yang, right? Yeah. Right. And then there's the Nora and Ren.
Right.
One of the things, though, that they had here is that they had then the multiple people feeling like they were the odd man out.
Right. We had Weiss and Ruby,
right?
Yeah.
And, you know, and we got some awesome nuts and bolts, you know, moments with Ruby and and Penny. But it was one of those things where, like, I could almost see both Weiss and Ruby just sort of sitting there, like doing one of those like romantic comedy parallel shots where they're both sitting there pining and just thinking like, I wish someone would come rescue me from this, right? You know, like,
yeah.
So
even if it's going to the movies with Oscar and John.
Yeah.
But in this case, I love that they used the frameworking of even in some ways a little bit of a meta poking at the fans to be like, hey, yeah, you know, Bumblebee and all that, that's not a relationship yet because like, you know, there's been no definitive stuff here. And they actually like have Nora being like, but there's still something going on there.
Right. Nora's essentially saying, hold on, Ren. If you really think that,
then what does that say about us?
What does that say about us? Because hold on, we've had some pretty definitive hand-holding like up till this point. So you can't just back out of that, right? Yeah.
This part here, I love. I want to actually get into the specific dialogue here because it's legitimately good. So Penny shows up. She's like, "Oh yes, you're here." It's only me and Marrow. Yep. It's like, who are these? And Ren's like, at least they're back to being friends, calling up the stuff that was in volume 5 and 6 of them just having to deal. There's probably more 6, if anything, of them like having this awkwardness between them, like in the beginning on the train and stuff. And Ren's like, yeah, he's right. They are back to being friends. And then Nora's like, well, wait a minute.
Wait.
Friends is such a specific term.
And given that...
Or such a vague term, actually.
Right. And given that we're doing this parallel conversation, talking about Blake and Yang, but also talking about us... Hold on.
Yeah.
Did you like things better before all of this stuff came up?
Right, so let's keep it going. Yeah, and then Nora being like, they've shared a lot of experience together that means something, probably more than that. Because let's remember, they weren't there for a lot of the stuff that Blake and Yang went through together.
That's true.
That was stuff that they had. And I love how they're having it be like, they went through their own thing again. And then Nora's like, well, wait a minute. We had Kuro Yuri. Like, this has been years, my friend. My friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe only one of them feels that way. And Ren's talking, obviously, about himself.
Right, and I love how Ren kind of, when he says that, maybe one of them feels that way. He avoids eye contact.
Oh, yeah, but then he does eventually look at her.
Mm-hmm.
I love Ruby's thing of just like I don't know which
again structurally is following along with volume 2 with Ruby feeling like the odd one out and going to stand by the punch table and all that stuff, right?
I want subtitles for what they're saying in the background though, Nora and Ren, because it's just so good. Then we have bumping into Marrow, who has been the most wholesome of the Aesops, and we get to see him and Penny now here, which means that they were setting this up. It's almost as if they knew that we would all fall in love with Marrow and bring him into the dynamic with the other cutesy, wholesome, adorable two nuts and bolts, Penny and Ruby. Have them all here to experience the trauma of Tyrion being hidden amongst the crowd here.
Which is, again, where they're pinning the blame for something horrible on someone else, and Penny's somehow involved.
This feels very much like a tie-in to Volume 3. It's rather good. I would say that the main thing that they're cutting their losses and saying, like, okay, there were people that saw us, so we need to leave this situation and distance ourselves so that we can engage again in the future, on our terms. We can't
let ourselves get righted and killed.
Exactly. We can't be brought in a reactive way to any of the protagonists' maneuvers here. So they leave, and I like that because it means that there is a definite chance that they could calm things down eventually, given enough information disseminated to the group. However, because they put this alongside the obviously, stolen election kind of background here, it makes it seem like there's something more nefarious going on.
One thing that I hope, or I would love to see if it comes up as a plot point. So, lights are put out, right? And then it's like, oh, Penny did this, right?
Yeah.
I would love to see that there were some faunus in the group, and they're like, holy shit, like, like,
because we have night vision.
We have night vision,
so
right?
we saw it wasn't Penny that did this.
It wasn't Penny. There was someone else, right? Because the miscommunication that there would be. Now, granted, will that be enough, right? Will those voices be put in a place where they can actually communicate it effectively, right?
Because they are faunus in Atlas, so that might be another...
yeah, but at least they're in Mantle, so, hopefully...
What if we went and looked closely and found out that Tyrion was specifically attacking faunus, too? Like,
that would be pretty
like, wouldn't that be, like, super messed up, but also, like, really almost... like tactical here, the fact that
it would be definitely tactical.
Some of them actually saw him. So in these moments here, it seems like more that they're just kind of running. They have no idea what's going on here.
Yeah, but
Tyrion is supposed to be pretty quick, and there are moments where Penny spots him and then he dodges and gets out of the way and stuff. So you know, there's issues there.
One of the important things, though, is that
Yeah.
He didn't fully complete his mission. I don't think.
No.
Because Robin's still alive.
I think that if he wanted to make this as sweet as possible, he would have attacked Robin specifically.
Right.
But because this is all framed as Robin's celebration party, everything is an attack on Robin.
Oh, no, definitely. But if she were dead, then she could be a martyr that instigates further chaos, and she wouldn't be around to calm everyone down, because it's been showcased that she is actually level-headed,
good.
like she's a good solid leader. She doesn't have a problem getting her hands a little dirty, but she understands the importance of being cooperative with the established system, right? Even if
we've only seen so much with her, though.
Yeah. But the idea that her being in a situation where, okay, crazy stuff just happened.
Right.
If she was gone, if she was dead, that would be even worse, right?
Yeah, I would say, though, that if she died, the main thing that I would feel that would make this actually actually better for everything is that she would become a martyr. In fact, in some ways, there would be actually a little bit of a bit of a more idealized response in some ways.
Really?
If she's around, actually, I would say the main problem that there is that this is going to move outside of her hands, perhaps. Although
definitely, her immediate influence,
yeah. And then they could do further damage to her image based on what she does in response to this.
Well, because one of the things that I'm yes,
but I understand what you mean. Yeah.
Well, and also if they uncover the fact that essentially Watts rigged a bunch of the votes, right? Then there could theoretically, even though it would be unlikely, be some upset, whatever, and then she gets instated, right?
Right.
However much conflict or whatever would need to happen for that to happen, and however likely that may be, that would be a situation where then we could have kind of a happy ending in that Ironwood and her would need to resolve their differences and kind of move forward and figure out how to cooperate properly and do all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Especially since once she learns the secret, right, she will potentially be, fairly cooperative because she'll see the things that Ironwood was dealing with, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Right, even if they still vastly disagree and whatnot.
Right. The main thing I'm thinking about is not really the conflict of the political system, but primarily the unrest area there. If she was a martyr, then I think there would be a lot of time where people would actually calm down, mourn her loss, think about, okay, what would she want us to do here? Look about the most idealized version of her message here. And the people surrounding her, while they definitely don't like the spec ops military people who are, watching this kind of thing, which does look actually a little bit weird if you think about it that way.
Yep.
Why wouldn't they just have general robots, right? Like, is a more personal touch better looking in terms of, marketability for the image of Ironwood?
Right.
Or is it just simply a anime thing where we need characters that we recognize here? To make it a little bit more impactful so that they can emote when crazy stuff happens.
Well, and I feel like
I'd say Penny is the one that makes the
Penny
most
is
sense
the
to be
equivalent
here
of that.
because she is literally the defender of Mantle.
Right.
But other people being here does feel a little bit,
Yeah. I gotta say though, frickin' Marrow's semblance, OP as hell.
Stay!
Yeah,
and he basically casts mass slow.
Mass hold person. Like,
well, no. They still move. They still move. So they basically slow down like dramatically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But that's so crazy. Like,
there's a reason he is in
crazy.
the Atlas Spec Ops.
And I liked, and given how kind of goofy and whatnot he is, and that oftentimes he's the butt of a joke, in like the recent episodes, I like that he actually had the emotion and everything that comes in to do something, but then also responding to, oh shit, this is happening. I was supposed to help stop this. Essentially the same thing that Penny had, right?
Right.
And then him being like, this is bad. I'm so sorry. You have to believe it wasn't us. We have to go. Right. Like that was very impactful. I loved to see that.
Oh my God.
They're gonna edit the footage.
So we're literally going to get a Penny version of events where they're going to show her doing the things, and then spread that onto the internet essentially, and cause even more unrest before it gets, you know. This is actually something I'm rather glad that they're doing, because this is the kind of propaganda subterfuge kind of stuff that I genuinely believe actually works. The kind of thing of where it's like, yeah, Faunus would have night vision, right?
Right.
This is them countering that by saying like, but yeah, don't believe what a couple people here and there said there.
And then it's just the random voices of dissent against what's the obvious truth. Yeah.
Right. Now, does that counteract the whole she's been the defender of Mantle all this time?
You're right. Is there enough of a dissonance that would cause people to doubt even the evidence that is suggested?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And do people generally tend to prefer the narrative that already fits the way they currently believe things are? Yes.
Right.
And I think that's going to be the whole social commentary thing here, is how people prefer a truth that lines up already with their established beliefs rather than looking closely at things.
Right. And since everyone hates Ironwood so much already,
it's not a hard leap of logic to say that as things were headed towards a victory for Robin Hill,
since
you know, there's some shenanigans involved.
Even though she didn't actually win and all that stuff, but you know, whatever.
That would be interesting.
Why there wasn't an attack on Jacques, who knows?
Yeah, that would actually be interesting to find out that there's some equivocation of Ironwood and Jacques being on the same side because of how easily Ironwood is handling Jacques. Meaning that he is fine with having Jacques being put into a position of power on the council. Because, like, yeah, look at how I've handled this bitch in the previous time. So that would be actually a really, like, scary story of equivocation there, where Jacques gets further thrown under the bus because he gets tied to the Ironwood regime, as he's a representative of those that are in Atlas, not in Mantle.
Because, like, quite frankly, why do you go to the you know, essentially the infinite consuming darkness that's wanting to destroy all of humanity and civilization, and say, yeah, I think you'll help me advance within this civilization? How long do you think that'll last?
Now, no one knows about Salem, though, Jacob. No one knows about Salem, so that you can't make that kind of connection there. Remember, there is no connection in the mind of Watts. In the mind of people working with Watts, like Jacques or anyone else, really, other than Tyrion.
Which could potentially change a lot, which would cause some crazy things, because because as far as Jacques' motivation, right, and here's this person, he's kind of doing it because he's being forced to, because he's being strong-armed into it, which means that when the news goes out,
Jacques is screwed.
Like,
royally.
Oh, yeah.
He's one volume after this, maximum, from being, like, completely gutted in terms of what he has in the influence of, say, in the plot conflict, which is that's intense.
One of the things that makes me really interested for, though, is because one of the things that they could do with that, right, is that if his position of power is destabilized, then he has to choose his options carefully. He can't just be a bully with how he did things before. Now, maybe he'll go further, you know, and he'll double down on the way he's been doing things as a way to reclaim what he lost. But we could see an interesting side of Jacques in his essentially final moments within society.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we're just going to see him crash and burn. It's going to be more of a catharsis thing.
Definitely.
Than we give him actual depth kind of thing. There's only so much depth to go around.
Not necessarily as a depth thing, but because he's resourceful. So will he just immediately be done, or will he do some kind of, like, attempt at, scraping something together?
Yeah. I in that respect, I actually think Whitley will be more interesting, actually.
Well, there you go. You know, they can just pass the buck.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Penny felt like right here, when she was realizing that this was all happening in a way that was similar to Beacon, that's what I got the vibe by looking at her face here and stuff like that. Is that she's going back home here before things get even crazier. And she doesn't trust herself necessarily.
Right.
And this is something that I desperately want them to get into. Because Penny died.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Penny obviously didn't die, but there was a point in time where power was no longer going to her form. What did her soul do in the time that it was sitting there in the core? Right? What happened?
Sure.
Was it conscious? Like, the idea of the ghost in the machine. What happens when the machine that basically gave life to the soul was shut down?
Right.
Obviously, Penny didn't die and the soul was reborn or something like that. This is the exact same Penny we know and love.
Right, and maybe the soul went dormant or whatever once the power was lost, but...
Right. But I want there to be a genuine character depth thing for her where she's been trying to avoid or maybe kind of forget that happened because that was a terrifying moment for her, and anytime something similar to that is brought up, she's like, hey, I need some familiarity, and RWBY, sorry, you're not cutting it. I need my father. Like, I need to go back to like Pietro. I need to go back to to my, you know, yeah, maybe get calibrated or something like that, because boy, that's some drama. There's some little Easter egg things where we have the guy who was the drunk citizen who was, you know, being a prick, having him being shown in certain scenes here, and it's just like, oh, he's the average, you know, citizen who kind of doesn't really care about what's going on here. But yeah, okay, we discussed a lot here, but we're actually gonna wrap things up really quick now.
Fantastic episode.
Yeah,
like,
really.
Like, I absolutely love it.
Really good.
On the characters and the plot side. And now we're going to get some exciting grim action and potentially more. So,
yeah.
Oh boy.
I'm just loving how they are managing to sneak in really good subtext character interactions that are not just regarding, like, you know, romantic potential interactions, but like stuff that involves like literal world building as well.
Sure.
Like, I'm impressed. I'm genuinely impressed. This is a show that I've been following for a very long time, and I love seeing little moments of maturity in the writing.
Yeah.
And it just makes me excited because I think when we all started watching RWBY early on, we always had these idealized images in our head of what the future of RWBY could look like.
Yeah.
But in terms of like where it is now, my idealized future images of where RWBY could be even later from now are just like even bigger than I could have even imagined early on.
Right. And it is a sight to behold.
That's exciting.
Yep.
That's exciting. So y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction discussion in a timer format, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there, and any level of support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about this story, about anime in general. You can get involved with the community. There's a lot of fun stuff going on, and you can talk with Jacob about the book that he wrote.
That's right. I wrote a sci-fi novel, in case you somehow haven't heard by now. It's called Battle Lines. It's awesome. It's on Amazon in both hardcover and ebook. Check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.